Esports live session. My name is Melissa and I'm here with Bernard. We're so excited to have you here. We're going to showcase our esports team. Whether you're a competitive player or you just play game at home or you're just esports curious like myself, we have an amazing session for you today. And I'm going to have you take it away and lead us and show us to our first stop.
Okay, let's do it. So my name is Bernard. I'm the Senior Administrator of Esports here at Humber Polytechnic. What is esports? It's a question that we get asked all the time. So if you know traditional sports, you got your soccer, you got your baseball, you got your hockey. Gaming within esports is doing kind of the same thing, except instead of different sports, we have games. So instead of basketball, you'll have League of Legends. Instead of hockey, maybe you'll have Call of Duty or Valorant, maybe Super Smash Bros. So there's different titles that you can compete in. And our students here at Humber are joining this movement that's been growing all around North America. There's now more than 200 programs, probably now closer to 300, that have competitive gaming teams that represent their institution. So under me, this program relaunched in 2023, and our students come from all corners of the school. We have events management students, sports management students, culinary, child and youth care. Some of them are related to esports, some of them are not, but there's so many different ways that they can get involved, and it's super fascinating.
So you don't have to be in a dedicated program. Anybody can kind of try out or join. How does that work?
Yeah, so it's extracurricular. We support students joining in two ways. You can either be recruited and play on our teams, or you can work behind the scenes supporting the infrastructure for the team. So we have team operations like coaches, team leads. We have digital content strategy, photographers, video producers, live stream broadcasting. Website development even.
Amazing.
So regardless of what your expertise is, even if it's outside of the game, there's a place for you to connect what we do with your curriculum. And that's like one of the biggest messages I want to share is I think when you think of esports, anything competitive, you think, well, you have to be good at its participation.
Right.
And that's not the case, right? If you go to a local sports game that's selling out an arena, there's an industry supporting the game being played. That's also what we do here.
Absolutely. So everyone can get involved in many different ways.
Yeah.
What are they playing right now?
Yeah, they're playing Valorant. So Valorant's actually one of the most popular esports titles on the market. There was just a really big tournament at the Intercare Center called Valorant Masters Toronto. It welcomed some 10,000 people over the span of June. They were playing for $1 million prize pool. They came as far as Singapore, Japan, Korea, Europe, Australia, and more. So this is the same game they played. Some of the players here, some of the students in the jersey specifically, they're actually from our teams. So they played on our teams during the competitive season in 24-25, and it's kind of a mix of our staff. So we even have events coordinator, community engagement specialist, one of our editors.
Wow.
So yeah. In the regular year, we're entering leagues and we're playing against other schools. So not just your Concordias or your Durham colleges or your other schools. We're playing against, University of Irvine, University like in California, or UT Dallas. They have teams. They pit them against Humber, and we play remotely. And we're playing for prestige, for scholarships, for money, and really to show people that Humber is the place to be.
Amazing. Do we want to head to the students? We want to get their take on the student experience. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Good. What's your name?
My name is Mohid. I'm with the Valorant team and also the IT team here at Humber Esports.
So how did you get involved in esports? Did you get recruited? Did you just apply? Were you a gamer before?
I was definitely a gamer before.
Yeah.
I played a lot of games online at home. And then when I started coming to school here, I started my program in computer engineering. I actually tried looking for it myself because I'm just an avid gamer. I wanted to get involved somehow. And there wasn't really anything until Bernard came around.
Amazing. So you found an opportunity kind of outside of your program to get involved in the Humber community. And I think a lot of people think of traditional like athletic sports when you think of varsity, but it's so amazing that we have something for kind of everybody. If you're not like that avid basketball player, volleyball player, there's an opportunity to join a varsity team through esports.
Yeah, exactly. It gives you so many different opportunities. Last year with the team, we got to go to Montreal to go compete. This year, we went to St. Clair College down in Windsor. We actually went to Chicago as well with the fighting game team to go compete in the biggest major for fighting games here in North America.
Yeah.
So yeah, all really good experiences, really good varsity level like gameplay.
Amazing. Cool. Do you want to head to the next gamer? Hi, how are you? There you go. What's your name and how'd you get involved in esports at Humber?
My name is Kyle. I got through esports just by signing up through the Discord.
Yeah.
I've always been competitive. I played sports my whole life, but one thing that was on top was video games. And since it opened up, I was just, let me try it out. And I've been a part of it for like the past 2 years.
Amazing. And how do you think it affected kind of your experience as a student, like outside of the classroom, or even how it connects to your program?
Overall, like it really made my school experience so much more better. I
Yeah.
made so many more friends here. It helped me grow as a person. I was a team captain for the League of Legends team last year,
Amazing.
and that helped me grow vocally. It helped me become more well-spoken, become a team leader. I was in the kinesiology program at Guelph Humber.
Yeah.
So there's also a bunch of like health and wellness programs or assets that we are able to reach out to like, here with Humber Esports as well.
Amazing. Thank you. Bernard, we're gonna kind of shift back to you. Do you
Yeah.
want to explain kind of this area and
Yeah,
maybe
sure.
how it's open to students? Are students able to access it, or is it just for individuals who are
Yeah,
in esports?
so Humber Esports, we have 3 dedicated practice and playing areas on campus at North. We're still new. We're 2 years into the program under my direction, so we will expand to Lakeshore and IGS. We've already run some events there.
And it's grown so big
It's
since.
yeah. I mean, it started in 2023.
Yeah.
We're now a varsity. We're recognized by Esports Canada. We're actually nominated for an emerging Program of the Year award with the National Association of Collegiate Esports. Our event was nominated at the Canadian Game Awards for best event for last year. So like we've done a lot in a very short amount of time.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we're obviously welcoming students to come. But yeah, how to play. So in this one area, it's open air. There's no doors, as you can see. However, we do control the access for this. So yeah, you can
Okay.
sit down, but it's not connected to the network. This is kind of privileged space for public activations, casual engagements. It's also a backup practice and match day area. So for example, on a given day, let's say in October, if we have to play against a school in one game, but then another game, we have another match on the same day,
Yeah.
we can use spaces simultaneously. The third one is usually production might use it, or maybe it's just like a backup. But yeah, we have 12 PCs here. So we got 2 back there to kind of manage the 10 that are playing. And you'll typically see kind of a 5 versus 5 situation like we have now, or this is 4v4. But yeah, this is one of the 3 spaces that we have. Really cool.
I'm just checking the chat right now, and I have a lot of people saying I didn't know that Humber had this, which is pretty
Yeah, I
awesome
mean,
that we're showcasing this today.
Well, yeah, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Yeah, some questions in the chat. I think there might have been,
I
was it
really
how
want
to
to join you
join?
guys. Yeah.
Yes.
Someone said I really want to join you guys. How do they join?
Yeah, so the first thing would be to, follow. I'll plug the socials early. So Humber Esports GG. We're at Humber Esports GG on everything. So Instagram, X/Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. Our Instagram is like the main place. We have a link tree on our profile, and you can see like upcoming jobs, public events you can go to. Actually, we just posted recruitment interest forms and job
Okay.
interest forms. So if you actually go to our Instagram right now, just Google Humber Esports, you'll find the form and you can fill it out. I think it launched literally yesterday.
Amazing.
And we're getting ready for the September to April competitive season.
So there are so many opportunities for students to join, whether they're a pro player,
Yeah.
pro gamer, or anyone who just wants to kind of do it for fun,
Do it for
almost
fun,
like
yeah.
a
Or
club
explore.
or explore, or learn new games even.
Yeah, or be part of something like you were talking about the teams. One thing that I didn't mention is we have co-ed teams. So like our some of our rosters have girls on them, and it's
Yeah.
we don't have separate rosters. It's kind of like all together.
Integrated,
Yeah, so it's really cool. Like as far as like inclusivity goes, like it's kind of runs through our DNA from the
Yeah.
leadership level to the player level. Like whether you're new, old, male, female, it doesn't matter. Like we can support all interests and backgrounds here. But I'd love to show you some other stuff if you want.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. We're gonna head upstairs.
All right, intermission music.
Yeah, so for those of you who are tuning in, feel free to add your questions into the chat. We do have someone in the background answering any general questions. If you have any questions for us during the live session, feel free to plug them in. And if you're just tuning in, add in whatever games you're interested in playing right now.
So we talked a lot about like playing what's within the confines of a screen, right? When you think gaming, you think, yeah, I'm clicking and clacking, I'm on a controller, I'm on a keyboard or a mouse, but we're at a school. So for those in the chat wondering, well, why do games and esports exist at schools? Why do schools support this?
Yeah.
It's because, we're seeing all over the world in record numbers, people are gaming. They're playing on their phones, they're playing on their PCs, on their consoles. And what better way to kind of explore your education than through the thing that you love and do it with other people that feel the same, and then tie it to your educational experience. So key to Humber Esports is also career readiness, industry connections. One of those departments that represents it is production. So this is our live stream studio. We use this throughout the year to run broadcast experiences that cover our match days. So if we have a team playing on the PCs downstairs, we'll have students that you see now either commentating, directing, producing. We have a content team as well. this is like traditional sports. We have match day graphics. We stream it live to Twitch. There's a lot going on. But I would rather have the student that runs the show tell you.
Amazing. So I'm new to this kind of world, and I'm sure there are many people who are viewing right now who kind of don't have any idea of the gaming industry. So why is this so important to that industry? Like, why aren't students just gaming and that's it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many reasons for it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is that, much like traditional sports, when you have any sort of high skill cap activity or something where you have this big divergence where some people are really, really good at the game,
Yeah.
others are just learning or getting into it, that sort of usually starts off on why this existed in the first place. So when, esports was first starting out, it was on, television in South Korea because people wanted to see these players in StarCraft and they would show off their skills and why they were so good. And that was how it started. And then, like most things, it sort of grew into its own industry and its own little thing. So now the reason we do it in collegiate and the reason I think that it works for this space is because you have these players, this is probably their first time competing in anything, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it's really nice for them to be able to show that off through a professional looking setup like we have here, where we have commentators, we have graphics over the game.
So you have a whole team supporting this.
Exactly. So we have a whole team supporting this, and this is something that they can take and send to their friends, their family, their colleagues, their other people that they know in the community, and it lets them tell their story of what they're doing. People get to watch their games, see their gameplay, and go from there.
Amazing. So back to Bernard's point, in terms of like the students who can get involved in this, even though let's say you're not a pro player or an avid player, game player, you can also, if you like the production side of things, you can also access this room. Yeah, there you go. So this is the production side where students can access this and use their skill sets kind of beyond just being a player.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's a big thing. And we work with the broadcast television program sometimes, and they will have students that don't necessarily know anything about esports help us run events because it still actually affects or it falls in line with the skill sets that they're learning.
Sure.
And so there's sort of two sides to that one. In the first sense, we work with the program directly, so we'll work with broadcast TV students, and in that sense, actually have them on the shows and work with them as a class experience.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, we have work study positions and interns that will come from the program and work within our internal versions. We have our own setup that you see here. Like this has nothing to do with VRTV or anything like that.
Yeah.
So what that does is gives them an opportunity to work in a different environment.
Absolutely.
So we're not trying to emulate what VRTV does. We're trying to do kind of, the way I try and design it at least was to give it them exposure to a different sort of
industry. Just another opportunity to add to their skill sets. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Do you want to just go through what is going on right now with the student?
Yeah, for sure. You want to kind of break down what's going on here?
The setup, what a student might experience if they came into this room and access the space.
Sure. Yeah, no problem at all. So there's three major portions to this setup. So we'll start over with Gabe there. He would be on camera if there wasn't gameplay happening. So what he's doing is basically commentary similar to you would find in a game of hockey, American football, where you have normally two commentators. We just have the one for today, but two commentators talking back and forth about what's happening in the game, why, giving insight on strategy, why it's happening, and, basically what might happen next, what's going on.
Yeah.
At that point, he would be either on camera or on mic, and then in between games, would move on to camera. So that's one opportunity, is if you want to speak to anything like that. The next would be what Tia here is doing. She is observing. And what observing is, it's sort of like virtual camera work. That would probably be how I describe it. Basically, there's a whole bunch of people in game, and they all have their own point of view. And what they see determines how the game plays out. So the role of an observer is like the role of a camera person. They have to follow the story of the game, show what each player is doing, and make sure to give good insight on what's actually happening because it's so chaotic, right? You have to be able to follow that. So that's one of the toughest jobs in esports, I think.
See, I had no idea that all this background work goes on when it comes to gaming. When I think of gaming, it's someone in their room
Yeah.
or, on their computer and just playing, and then maybe with a mic and like a webcam
Yeah.
streaming. So this is super cool to see that, we have a huge, hundreds of thousands of dollars of equipment where students can access and do that work while in school.
Yeah, exactly. And it all sort of co-aligns with things that you can find in traditional broadcasting, things that you can find in its own esports version of industry. And then it gives students a great opportunity to work and intern and do all those sorts of things.
Cool. Do we want to head to the next area? Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
There you go. Thanks so much. Alex gave a great description. I think one of the cool things is I mentioned that big event at the Enercare Center that happened recently. This is like a major multi-million-dollar esports event. All of the roles that Alex spoke to were represented at that event. So there was somebody as an observer that had 120 pages of notes for the different teams, the strategies, the storylines, and also like the player strengths and weaknesses, so that when they're making a play that could cost them tens of thousands of dollars and their fans from France are watching, he's on the right perspective at the right time to capture that. So whether it's observers, live stream commentary, technical direction, we usually have about 5 people in there on a single match day running all sorts of things from what you've seen to like replay operations. So that's like getting replay footage in real time and showing that to the audience.
Awesome.
So super cool.
I always say when it comes to Humber, we provide opportunities for students to really get that hands-on experience, right? So you can see it for yourself, whether it's in the lab spaces, in your classrooms, or even no matter what program you're in, or even in like the live events that you're speaking to.
Yeah.
These are amazing opportunities that really help students build up their resume, right? So I'm sure a lot of these students add that to the opportunities that they've done and completed. So when they graduate, they can say, you know what? I didn't just complete this program, but I also was involved in these major competitions that are known worldwide, right?
This is a perfect segue. So for the event I mentioned as an example, Red Bull had an activation there for the event goers, and they've loved working with us over the last 2 years so much that they only had Humber students working the booth. They were paid contract jobs at Red Bull. They're now submitting their invoices. Like these are their first esports industry jobs.
Right.
They're getting paid for it. It's going on their resume. We've worked with the Toronto Raptors or Toronto Maple Leafs. We've worked with Canada Computers, Asus, Canada. I mean, it just goes on. Dell, MSI. Yeah. So a lot of our students, they get their first brush with us and then kind of scaffold that into, wow, I really like this thing. And maybe it's actually parallel with gaming. Like I work for a tech company, but I'm specializing in like the gaming and esports stuff. So there's a lot of really cool stories. Some of the cool stuff that we were able to do as a result is we have sponsors too, right? So this is an example of like a table activation we would do at maybe an orientation event or something where people are just walking by getting to know us. We have sponsors, Pre-Fire. These are actually hand warmers. So these are hand warmers for competitive gamers. I mean, they're dope. They came out recently. We're the first school to ever feature them. Roar Organic. They're in Costco and in Shoppers Drug Mart. This is a well-known brand. Coconut water-based drink. So it's not like we're throwing back Red Bulls. As much as we love Red Bull and Monsters, we need energy. But this is like a hydration alternative. So we want to talk about, well, we do have health and wellness coaches and performance coaches. So the idea, as Kyle was saying, is that we have these programs to help our students. We also reflect that with the people that we work with, the industries and the companies. If you were to join the team tomorrow, you would get this custom-made Humber Esports box with your jersey inside, stickers, lanyard, enamel pin. We're looking at socks in the future. I love shoes. Like making the student experience special and making it a reason why they come back to Humber or just choose Humber is, I think, one of the coolest things about it, because I've been gaming my whole life. And when I was in school, I never had anything like this. So I want to show that, we're special. You're special.
Absolutely.
And, you can find a lot more
and
about
feeling
yourself.
like you're a part of a team and an actual community
Exactly.
of like-minded people and people who enjoy kind of doing the same things you like doing on your extracurricular time, but then also tying it to school as well as possibly leading to something more professional in the long run. Right?
So this is the perfect time to pass it over to Nitik. So Nitik Singhal is our photographer. He's been our photographer since, how long has it been now?
It's been a year yet. It's October of last year.
If he sits you down and tells you what he's done, it won't sound like it's been a year. But I'll let Nitik take you through
And what program are you in?
Architecture.
Okay, amazing. There you go. So
So I don't know if Bernard has mentioned yet, but we also have 2 racing simulators as part of our program. Honestly, I know you guys have seen a lot. These 2 are my favorite things.
this is your favorite?
These are my favorite. I love racing.
Cool.
So these were gifted to us by Sim staff. We've taken them to the auto show. Same thing as what Bernard was saying, event opportunities. We had the chance to work with Sim staff at the auto show, showcasing these rigs, talking about sim racing, and just show our passion. Yeah.
Awesome. Do I get to play?
Yes, you do. So right now, Ahmed's been on for a little bit, but you're gonna
Ahmed,
be
are you
racing
ready
against him.
for
I
me?
think so.
All right. So look at you. Do you want me to hold the iPad for you?
I'm good.
Oh, perfect.
I got it.
So, you're.
I'm in.
And so you can pull yourself closer using these bars, and then
Cool.
there's the pedals at the back, just right there.
This?
A little bit far. Oh no, just all the way back there.
Well, got it. I'm short.
That's okay. Are you able to push them? So, in
Oh,
this
I'm
kind
in.
of style,
Yeah.
you want to use your left foot as well. You want to use your left foot as well for the brake.
Oh,
And so,
cool breaks.
if you want to pull this closer to you, I'll lock it in. There we go. And just like that. So this is a Canadian Grand Prix. Yeah.
Ahmed, you are the dean
Yeah,
of
associate
esports,
dean. Interaction design.
interactive design.
Esports comes under my, I guess, management. So
Can't
yeah,
multitask.
I've been doing this for about 4 years as an associate dean.
Perfect.
Before
So
that,
if you hold down the
faculty.
brake,
Yeah.
it'll be in reverse.
Got it. Okay.
Did a lot
Uh,
of this.
yeah, it's tricky.
It is.
And you're not just like driving on the road normally at like speeds of like 60 kilometers an hour. You're going like 200.
This is real interactive here, guys. I'm probably going the wrong way. Okay, so some questions for you, Ahmed.
Yeah.
What are kind of like standout moments for you as a dean that you've experienced in the last couple of years? Kind of from when you started the program to what's going on now.
So I guess I'll clarify. I was not the person that started it.
Okay.
I started it. Going into the pandemic, things really cooled down. Students weren't on campus. There's
Right.
a bit of a lack of connectivity. And I started looking into what esports was doing pre when I joined. So I joined in 2020. And there was a couple of like success stories that came out of esports. So I was looking at it primarily as like just competitive gaming, students getting sort of opportunities.
Mhm.
But when we started reactivating esports post pandemic, I found that there was a lot of like collegiality. So students were really getting together and forming a sense of belonging. And I remember as a student, there was usual orientation stuff. They'd bring in like a band, and you'd kind of connect with your
Yeah,
peers through those typical orientation activities.
exactly.
What esports was doing was bringing out students that weren't really into those sorts of things. They still wanted to connect with other students. They still wanted to, be active on campus, but
Mhm.
those sorts of things were resonating. So a new group of students was coming out. They were forming bonds. Sometimes as a student, when you join a college or Polytechnic as large as Humber, if you're not connected to your peers, you feel like you don't have a sense of belonging. You don't want to be on campus. But through gaming and esports, students were finding their place and really getting involved. So the next thing that happened is we started holding some pretty big tournaments with students, and then I started seeing all of their skills being activated. So you look at broadcast, production, videography, photography,
Absolutely.
and the list goes on and on.
And I think that's the coolest part of it, right? I think a lot of people have this idea of what a traditional, I guess, or typical idea of what a gamer is personality wise.
Yeah.
Not knowing that, I know I was talking to Bernard earlier that there are many people who are involved in this gaming industry, right? So even those high-end varsity players, for example, they might be very involved in this gaming industry. So I know there's a lot of connection with what you would find as traditional kind of those athletic programs like NBA and was it NHL, where they have that kind of category of esports as well to it.
Yeah, and the most interesting thing is you see the 5 people or 2 people on stage, whoever's competing,
Yeah.
and you look behind the scenes and you'll see 10 times as many students working.
Exactly.
So if you have like 6 students on stage playing another 6 students, there's likely 100 students in the background supporting everything that's going on. I was quite fascinated to hear like an accounting student want to apply their skills to esports and bring
Oh,
that.
yeah.
So everyone gets involved. Honestly, there's so many opportunities here, and that's really why I've doubled down on it. Like, if I'm going to spend a few dollars on something to do with a traditional marketing campaign, I'd rather put it towards esports because that gives us a lot more impact, right?
Absolutely.
It builds community,
And you definitely get
gets
that
people out.
viewership too, right?
Yeah,
Especially 'cause
viewership's
it's
important. Even like students
live.
to apply their leadership skills, it's
Yeah.
all there, and they're at the forefront, right? I could be being more hands-on with esports, but I find the students are so active that I get to just watch what Bernard and his team do, and
Exactly.
I sit back and enjoy it, as you can see.
Speaking of watching, I've seen you now go from what am I doing to like
One hand.
one handing it while interviewing is next level. Like she's a gamer. She has latent gamer skills.
Mm-hmm.
When I was younger.
Super cool. What do you think of the equipment?
This is a super cool experience. So,
Yeah. Can I tell
besides
you?
our programming, like these opportunities to, use interactive equipment like this is pretty awesome.
Yeah. And listen, we all crashed. I was crashing too the first time I tried and still
Uh,
not.
I was looking at our times; they're actually a little better than mine.
Yeah. Yeah. What's funny, or not funny, I should say. I want to talk a little bit about the stuff. So these rigs, what you're seeing that they're playing on, really cool. We're gonna have a team tied to the sim racing machines. We're gonna be racing next year for the first time.
Oh,
Something
cool.
quite cool though is that we're not just creating a varsity roster and a coach in a competitive environment around these racing machines. Back to what I was saying about kind of like how students at Humber can get involved in different ways. We actually have with the partner a project going called the Sim Staff Velocity Lab. So we have animation students from Humber and some other development students that are building a virtual Humber racetrack, drone scanned based on real features in our arboretum, like right here on campus. So in hopefully a year and a half's time, you can see this at an orientation booth. The rig is pulled out, and you can race on a Humber track in a Humber
That
vehicle.
is
They're also
super cool.
designing. The game designers are building a Humber livery, so a Formula One car, a rally car, or Indy for different formats of racing. So that ties to their capstones and animation. That ties to these are real industry partner projects with a partner like SimStaff. They're based in the UK. They work with Formula One teams like Red Bull, Aston Martin, Williams Racing, for those familiar with the Formula One world. So for students like Nick, who was saying, yeah, I'm a photographer, I do content, but I also love racing. This partnership and this esports thing, despite not being totally competitive, like right now we're just having fun, it does something that like few things in schools can do, which is it just takes you way outside of the walls of the institution and connects you with the real world out there. And yeah, that's why I love things like this.
That's totally
Cool.
amazing. Like, again, in that idea that even if you're not an avid gamer, but you still want to kind of get involved, there are so many opportunities to kind of tie in the work integrated learning opportunities that we offer at Humber.
Yeah, we have
and
so
do
many
it
interns.
extracurricular as well. And allowing kind of that community for everyone at Humber to kind of get involved no matter what program you're in or what games you play or don't play. So I think that's super, super cool that everybody can kind of get involved no matter where their skill sets are, whether it's their program or just their passion, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's changed my life.
Aw.
Just being here, like
I
working
love
on
that.
Humber Esports is
take over for you.
Humber Esports is like it's changed my life. Honestly, like I never expected any of this. Even the
Feedback's
events
crazy,
that
yeah.
I've worked, like everything, it's completely changed my life. It's made it better. And like even my school life, like I used to be, I can't lie, I used to flunk school. But ever since I was part of Humber Esports, I've made the dean's list.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah, I was on
Sense
the
of
dean's list.
community, yeah.
I was
congrats.
Before I was worried about passing, now I'm worried about trying to hit 90s in every single class.
Amazing. So
So-
that extra motivation, right?
And just being around, wanting to be on school, on campus more, having a community where I can go and be like, we share the same passions.
Yeah.
So it's been amazing.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that for you.
Yeah.
And again, just another way to showcase kind of beyond the classroom how you kind of get involved. And maybe, this is the space for you to kind of feel welcomed and feel and find your own community
Yeah.
and be able to open up and come out of your shell, right? So that's exciting to hear.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
Pass it over to you.
Yeah, so some of the stuff on the screen here, I don't know if the stream caught it. This is content design, photo, video stuff, editing, all done by our students. So everything that you've seen today, from the setup of the events to the turning on of the rig, the managing of them, to these spaces, they're done by our event coordinators, by our students. My job really as an administrator is to take a step back and to let the students do what they want to do and to guide that, to make sure it's tied to who they want to be in the future. So for those that are watching that have been with us so far, assuming this is where we're going to wrap, I just want to say thank you so much for your time. Thanks so much for signing up for the session. Thanks so much for spotlighting our program. And my message to you is, if you like gaming, if you like esports on its own, and you're not sure who you want to be, maybe you have some interest that you don't know where to place, try to connect that interest to this one. If you can make a bridge, maybe that's when school unlocks for you, and that's where we'll welcome you with open arms here at Humber. And yeah, just aim high. Remember, education is really important, and gaming can be a part of that now more than ever before.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
that was so much fun. Everyone, for those of you who tuned in, thank you for joining us live. For those of you who asked your questions, amazing. Thank you for getting involved. Hopefully, we unlocked a new area or idea or an opportunity for you to kind of join Humber, whether it's in school or the opportunity to join another community and club. We do have another Ask Humber coming up, another live session that will showcase one of our lab spaces. So if you are interested in seeing what more Humber has to offer, tune in then. Thanks again. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see